All of my seminars with the students, everybody's been very honest. When I've asked that same question, even with the discipline, many students did raise their hands when I'd ask how many know exactly what they're going to do. And I want to say to any of the students here, this is okay and this is legitimate. The idea of this education is to start touching things that'll affect you later. All right, so I didn't know what to do. What am I going to do? I had taken 20th century Spanish literature at the very end as one of my courses. Magnificent instructor. Fought my way through Miguel de Unamuno and the other writers and said, man, you know, again, this is great. And I asked him, so what can I do? Can I go to Spain? I was reading Hemingway also at the time. And she said, yes. So I went to the University of Granada. And again, the tabula rasa, another culture. I didn't hang with the Americans. So I learned the language. Click, 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 click. Okay, ran out of money. Came back, what am I going to do? It's the 60s. I go up to Montague Center, live with a bunch of people, do a couple of jobs. We're doing experimental theater. Again, I'm getting excited. We wind up going to Cambridge. We wind up going to La Mama in New York. This is cool, but I'm not making much of a living here, and I don't want to live with a bunch of people all my life because I've been alone. The greatest opportunity of all. The phone rings. It's a person saying, would you like to work on a movie? Duh, yeah. And again, opportunity strikes. So I went and worked on this movie called The Honeymoon Killers. No? Okay. I knew nothing. I was the gopher coffee, but what happened here was another shock. And the shock was, and again, working on my gut and my instinct of things that gave me pleasure. Not necessarily making money or wanting to jump to another level. I did everything. I mean, I ran it got the coffees, I helped cook, I helped them hang the lights, they showed me how to, I had mentors now, lots of mentors all over the place. After about 2 weeks, they fired the director. You know, this is like a $200,000 movie. And I have no idea, because I'm naive. I said, God, they fired the director, oh, how terrible. So he's leaving. We're staying in a motel in Chatham, New York, with some wacko who has a parrot on his shoulder all the time. And this guy's ready to leave, and I say, geez, I don't know why they let you go. I'm real sorry. We didn't really get to meet each other. My name's Mike Haley. And he says, don't worry, it's going to be fine. My name's Marty Scorsese. You know, backtrack again. While I'm here at UMass, I hang out with a couple of rock and roll groups. This one rock and roll group one day says, when I was a senior here, we're going to take a drive to Long Island. We're going to be in a movie. You want to come with us? I said, sure. Went with them. They're in the movie, and they're doing their thing, and I'm talking to the producer, and the producer's name is Charlie Carmela. Never heard of him? Okay. He was New York and Yugoslavia, was his addresses. He wore a stiletto on the side of his boots, and Mr. Carmela and I got along, and I told my friends in the movie, I said, you know, this is not a movie, this is a porno. You're in a porno. They said, no, well, come on, we're getting to play our music. I said, there's naked people walking around there. So, I quit the show in New York. Some friends up here had sent a film that they had made and gave it to me. And just before I'm really deciding to leave this town, I take it to a laboratory. Who do I run into 4 years later? Charlie Carmelo. Mike, what are you doing? Nothing. Want to make some money? Sure, Charlie, sure. Give me your phone number, I'll call you. 2:30 in the morning, I get a phone call. Meet me out here in Brooklyn. I go out to Brooklyn, warehouse, trailer truck, televisions. Another night, Brooklyn, warehouse, coats. Afternoon, Charlie calls, I'm going to pick you up in an hour, puts me in the car. He says, you sit behind the wheel here. If you don't see me come out of this building in 45 minutes, just take the car, here's the address in Brooklyn. Get that thing in the glove compartment. Open the glove compartment, like this. What is this, Charlie? It's melted gold. Here's 25 bucks, I'll be back. That was my relation. Then Charlie said, we're making some movies this weekend. You want to work on a movie? I said, God, Charlie, this is really what I want to do. He said, okay. Well, Charlie was still a porno producer. Pornos back then, you couldn't really show anything. You could show breasts. Most of the people that acted in them were either NYU or Columbia students. Well, just to make the money. It was okay. It was a business. And while I did this, I learned how to hang lights. I learned the hierarchy, even on a porno with the film. I learned how to load magazines. I learned what the different lenses did. And I ran into somebody who worked for NET in New York at the time. Worked for NET, started doing independent movies, wound up taking the Directors Guild of America, which is the union for directors, assistant directors, production managers, location managers, the union, to make a movie, was giving its first apprenticeship test. Of 2,000 people, they took 10, and I was one of the 10 that was the finalist and selected. From that point on, I started working feature film, feature film, feature film, feature film. I tend to think that what part of it was one, a work ethic, two, listening to what my mother had said, that, you know, I mean, it's a very covetous business. It's full of egos, it's full of people that, you know, a little suspicious of new people coming along. Don't step on anybody to get what you want. So there it was. I was a PA running for things to start, to do. When I was an AD, I didn't threaten other ADs. I just did the job and let common sense, what I had of it, continue me on. And of course, my knowledge and everything grew and grew and grew and grew. And it's like a whaling voyage when you do a movie. You get on a ship, you don't know if the captain's nuts, you know, you don't know the crew if they're crazy, you don't know if you're going to get any whales, you don't know if you're going to get thrown overboard halfway through it all, and it won't stop sailing with or without you until they're done. So, and that's what happens to a movie. I've seen producers die, I've seen a 15-minute break while the director made some phone calls and then continue the day's work. I've seen actors fired. Nothing stops.